Okay, this is Nana with So It Seems. And first thing, I'm going to let y'all in on a secret, which I don't think is much of a secret. I am not very tech savvy, okay? But I'm trying. I had mentioned that I wanted to do some projects with fat quarters. And fat quarters, you can usually buy them separately. And they're usually about 18 by 21 inches, okay? I bought a pack of fat quarters. I've had this for a while. It was a bundle of 4 fat quarters by the Pioneer Woman. I have bought them from Walmart. So my first project that I'm going to do with fat quarters, I'm going to use 2 of the fat quarters that I got from Walmart in the Pioneer Woman bundle. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm just gonna iron some of these creases out, because when you get fat quarters and they're all together in a bundle, they always have creases. So this is going to be part 1 of a 2-part video. Because of the fact that I'm not very tech savvy, I don't know how to edit my videos. I've downloaded the software and I've tried, but I'm going to have somebody show me how to do that. I just don't know how to do it. So I'm going to have to do 2 parts, and the first part is going to be getting my fat quarters ready. So I'm ironing all the creases out. I'm going to be using 2 from the Pioneer Woman package. This is 1, and then the one I'm ironing is 1. And the first thing that I'm going to make is called a hotpad. You make it just like you make a pot holder, but it's not going to have a hook on it for hanging. And what it is for casserole dishes. Like, see this casserole dish? It's a, let's see, I want to say 13, maybe 13 by 9. 13 by 10, something like that. Anyway, what you do is you make basically what is like a double size pot holder. It's called a hot pad, and then it's very nice. You can use it on your table, and what it does is you can put it under a casserole dish, or you can put it under a cookie sheet. And it protects your counter, it protects your table, and like at Thanksgiving or Easter dinner when you might have a lot of family, and you kind of run out of your pot holders, well, this gives you a double hot pad that you can just put on the counter or put on the table. And at big family dinners, people tend to make a lot of casseroles and things like that. So that's what this is going to be. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm ironing my fat quarters, because I don't want them to have those wrinkles from being folded up in the package. I had actually bought 2 different packs. Same print, but 2 packs of the Pioneer Woman fat quarters. I got them last year at Walmart, and I think they were on clearance. And they're very pretty. And my sister, she decorates with the Pioneer Woman in her kitchen. And I also have some in my kitchen. And I can't remember. I made her something. Oh, I bought her a present for her birthday, which was in January, but I told her that something else was going to be coming. And the only thing I told her is that it was going to be in the Pioneer Woman. So, but the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my fabric. I've got it ironed. And I want it to be a little bit bigger than my casserole dish. So let's see. And I don't have a pattern or a template, but I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it to like the width that I want it to be. Let me get the fabric lined up together. I'm going to try to cut the two together. So I'm going to cut it the length I want it, or the width. And then what I'm going to do, I think I might round the corners. Okay. So I think I want it about that long on that side. So the first thing I'm going to do, and a lot of things you can sew without a pattern. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut both pieces of this fabric. I put my casserole dish down. And that is a scoring blade. Let me get this one. I just laid my casserole dish on the fabric. Okay. And I cut it about the width that I want it. Okay, and now I'm going to cut it the other way. And I'm cutting it a little bigger than my casserole dish, because one thing is we have to allow for seam allowance. Because on each side, your seam allowance is going to take out part of the fabric. Okay. I think it's time for a new blade, but let me continue. Ooh. Okay. Now I will, when I finish this, I will put the size down in the description so you'll know about how big that I made it. But again, I just cut it by using my casserole dish, and I wanted it to be a little bit, probably about 2 inches longer, because the seam allowance will take at least an inch, and I wanted it to be, the finished thing, to be a little bit bigger than my casserole dish. Now you can do this, you can round the corners, or you can keep the corners square. And what I'm going to use is I'm using 2 pieces of cotton fabric. And in addition to the 2 pieces of cotton fabric, I'm going to use 1 piece of Insel Bright and 1 piece of cotton batting. And let me give you a rough estimate of the size that I have cut this. All right, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, I made it about 15 inches long. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And about, okay, 15 inches long and 11 inches wide. All right. Now what you want to do is you want to find something that's round, and you're going to use that to make your corners round, okay? So what I've done is you can take a bowl, but what I'm using, this is part of a template which is used to make bowl cozies, and this is just a rounded template. So this is what my template looks like, but you can use a bowl, and I'm just putting this right on the edge, and I'm just cutting a tiny bit off to make it round. I want my edges just to be slightly round. It's not a big curve, it's just a little curve. Is that how you say that? Okay. So if you have any type of a bowl, you can use the bowl and just use it like a little curve to cut out what you want for your, let's see. Okay, let me make sure nothing's shifted. Okay. So I got 2 more corners. Okay. I got 1 more corner. Okay, so see how my corners are rounded? Okay, the next thing that I need to do is I'm going to need to cut out my Insel Bright and my batting. But before I do that, I'm going to put my fabric together, pretty side to pretty side, lining it up the best that I can. And I'm going to go ahead and pin it together. Now when I pin things, I don't pin around where I'm going to sew. I pretty much pin my stuff right there in the middle, and that way when I'm sewing, I don't have to take my pins out, because I don't want to take a chance of sewing over my pin. So I'm just pinning this together. Now remember, this is part 1. Part 2 is going to be when I take it to the sewing machine. Okay, and I'm not using a pattern. I just kind of used my casserole dish as a guide. Okay, so now I'm going to take my batting, which is Wrap and Zap. I'm going to open up my package. And you could use 2 layers of Wrap and Zap. You don't have to use a layer of Wrap and Zap and a layer of Insel Bright. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay my batting on the table. or on my cutting mat, I should say, very carefully. I just put my fabric down right on top of my batting. And I'm putting it toward the edge because I don't want to waste my batting. Okay. All right. So to help me cut straight, I'm going to be using my rulers. You could take a pencil. You could trace around with a pencil and just cut it like that. Or you can do what I'm doing. I'm just using my rulers so I can cut straight. And then I'm going to be using my round template to go around the corners. Now, if your batting is a little bit bigger than your material, that's okay, because when we sew it, we're going to trim. Okay. Okay. Almost there. Okay. Okay, so now I have one piece of my batting and I have my 2 pieces of fabric. So the last thing I need to do is cut my ensil bright. And you can buy ensil bright. You can buy it from Amazon. I'm not sure. You can probably buy it at Walmart. I'm not sure. But anyway, okay. So I'm going to carefully... I keep grabbing the wrong one. I think this is the right one. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm just cutting right around. It's okay if my ensil bright is a little bit bigger, because once I get this sewed together, I'm going to be trimming. Okay. Okay, so this is the end of, the end of part 1. And I want you to see, I have my fabric face to face. Then I have a layer. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put my Insel Bright. I'm going to put the fabric on top of the Insel Bright. Okay. I'm making a sandwich. Your materials on top, face to face. Then I have my Insel Bright, and I'm going to have my batting, my warm and natural cotton batting under my Insel Bright, okay? So my batting is on the very back. This is my warm and natural batting. You can use 2 layers of that, or you can use 1 layer of Insel Bright and 1 layer of cotton batting, okay? So what I did is I took my casserole dish and I laid it on my fabric, and I cut about 2 extra inches around. And first it was square, and then I took something round and I sat it in the corners and trimmed around, okay? So this is part 1 of making your hot pad. And we made this with 2 Pioneer Woman fat quarters, a layer of Insel Bright, and a layer of cotton batting. So this is part 1. Meet me at the sewing machine for part 2.